Come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel, that mourns in lonely exile here, until the Son of God appear.
Alexa, play Here Comes the Irish. Welcome to a very sad Advent Thoughts, day 19. As I've gotten a bunch of texts from a bunch of you, I know that you know the Notre Dame game did not go exactly as I had hoped. But that's okay. We live to play another day. We're going to get into the championship game, I think, into the championship contest anyways, the playoff. So we'll have another shot. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. It just is what it is. You know, I've been watching Notre Dame since I can't even remember. I was just super little. And I've talked a bunch about traditions that my family keeps around Notre Dame. They border on the edge of obsessive compulsive. There were some of them you saw at the beginning of this, from putting the flag out to hitting the youngest kids and then going up to the top, head on the ceiling every time they scored a touchdown. I didn't think I was going to get to film that tonight. To the last one, which was me asking Alexa to play Here Comes the Irish. See, that wasn't actually a tradition in my house. For all the traditions that we had, and we had a bevy of them from all the same ones, so putting the flag out, the heads on the ceiling, watching the game to the bitter end, no matter how much they're winning by or losing by. My dad would play the Notre Dame fight song, the Victory March, before every game, and all the kids would sort of march around the house. That's what we did. It was a little cultish and weird, but you know, we love my dad. I don't do that. We play Here Come the Irish. And in some ways, it's a good lesson for all of us, I think, that's why I'm doing it, about what tradition is. See, we're called in our faith to live and to lean on this third leg of the three-legged stool of tradition, to keep the tradition and make it holy. There's a ton of stuff that we do in our tradition that's been passed down from generation to generation that's super important. But what's also true is that sometimes things have to change a little bit. So the question is what are we keeping? The tradition or the sentiment of the tradition? Is the goal the underlying thing that the tradition was for, or is it the tradition itself? See, for my dad, playing the Victory March was important, and for all the stuff that he did was important. And it was important to me. But for whatever host of reasons, the Victory March doesn't sort of bubble up that same level of intensity in my kids. But Here Comes the Irish, that sure does. They hear it and they start screaming and running around. So it's changed. But the sentiment is still the same. An undying love for this thing that generation to generation in my family we've engaged ourselves in. You know, truth be told, that banging our head thing on the ceiling, that's changed a bunch too. Originally, when I was born, was when my dad did it totally on accident, planting my head on the ceiling in a fit of excitement when Notre Dame scored. But over the years, it's morphed and moved a little bit. As people got older and older, and my dad got older and couldn't lift people, it started to become going up a ladder to bang your head. And then it started to be, when we got to high-scoring games with adults who weren't going to go up the ladder anytime soon, my mom fabricated a hand so my dad could touch the ceiling. For Jess and I, we lift the kids up and touch the ceiling, but we're not getting the ladder out. But we go over and we either hit our head on the mantelpiece or on something in the house. to just mark the moment. And in that same way, while it's silly and it's not luck of any sort, they've lost games and won games that we've done it in, it connects us once more and connects us again to that thing that my family's always done. We're part of this lineage, part of this thing handed down from generation to generation. From my father to me, to my sisters kids, our kids, and hopefully someday to their kids. And maybe it'll look different then too. Maybe it'll just be tapping a table. But if in the end what they're reminded of and what it keeps is the sentiment, the remembrance of games, sitting here watching games with their father, as I watched him with my father, as he watched him with his father, then we've marked it and kept it holy. The church will change. It's changing right now. We're online. We're in the ethos. We're on the interwebs. We're worldwide and global. And it's not the way I went to church, and it's not the way your father went to church and your mother went to church. It's probably not the way that you went to church, but it's the way lots of people are going to church. It's the way that they are being able to engage the liturgy. It's the way they're being able to engage the Holy Spirit. In this Advent, as we wait for the coming of Christ once more to celebrate the birth of Jesus, let's remind ourselves that we're shepherds of a tradition. But most importantly, we're shepherds of a God made flesh. To mark the tradition and keep it holy. But to proclaim this Jesus. Y'all have a good night and a blessed Advent. Okay.